welcome to this, and this will be a review of Manhattan Mayhem 3. Everyone and their brother keeps saying, when am I going to do more Ring of Honor reviews? Well, here you go. So, I decided to do this one because this is actually the one that most people told me to watch. I have seen, I did get Double Feature 2, which is not a good show, or good shows, I guess, except for the one match, the tag match, which is awesome, and I believe is on my top 10 matches of the year. It is amazing, and definitely if you like old All Japan type of stuff, I definitely would recommend checking that out off of Tag Title Classic. Is that what they called it? I think that's what they called it. Anyways, it was an awesome tag match. But this will also, there will be some news in this as well. And when I say news, I don't mean news about me, but wrestling news. Let me start off with that, as most of you probably already know. Kurt Angle was found not guilty on every charge but one, which was, I think, the stalking charge, which is basically a he said, she said thing, with Raka Khan, or whatever her real name is. So that's good for Kurt. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But apparently I was told, and I'm shocked that we didn't hear about this before, but apparently his license being suspended, which is what I thought the biggest deal was, because that's what he basically could go to jail for, because it was a DUI-related charge that it was suspended to start with. Apparently it had already been, his license had already been reissued, but apparently there was some glitch in the system, and on their end, on the police's end, and it had not been updated or something like that, though I'm still kind of wondering how that happened, because his attorney said that they were challenging and trying to overturn the whole suspended driver's license thing, so I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't matter. He was found not guilty on the whole thing. I'm sure people will come on here and say, see, you overreacted. I will sit here and say I still didn't overreact, because this is still a history, a pattern with Kurt Angle, and all you gotta do is look at the WWE, and look how the WWE treated Jeff Hardy after we heard what happened to Jeff Hardy, and a lot of people say, oh, those are worse charges. If you look at the charges, yes, blankly, but if you actually look at the charges, he was basically hit for distribution. The drugs in his possession, all of them except for the residual cocaine, all could be prescribed to him, I believe, and the drug paraphernalia as well. All, with the exception of those two, all of that could be prescribed to him, but they were trying to get him on that he was dealing it due to the amount that he had. When your distribution charges really depend on the quantity you have, and it's one of those things that it's differs everywhere, so that's one of those things with that. But no matter what, the WWE stopped a DVD release that they already had for Jeff Hardy. They stopped it completely, and also anyone that saw the pay-per-view saw the fact that they pretty much buried him, or to an extent, on the pay-per-view with CM Punk. So I think that does say a lot about what they thought, and the fact that they weren't going to play around no matter what. And that's, and the Jeff Hardy story hasn't even gotten a lot of publicity, in the media, except on certain places, but for the most part, it really hasn't been picked up. So I do think that's kind of telling that they were willing to do that, and also there's word that if, Jeff Hardy were to get cleared on the charges, if he came back to the WWE, basically he'd still get a one strike and you're out rule, meaning that if he first drug test he failed, and then he would probably be tested on a regular basis, he'd be out of the WWE. So there's also that rumor going around as well, that the WWE kind of let that leak, that was kind of how they would handle the situation. So I think that says a lot, the fact that here they are willing to say that, and here TNA is willing not even to send Kurt Angle home and say, take care of your shit. And the fact that, like I said, there's a pattern to this. This sort of stuff with Angle keeps happening over and over again, and they keep looking the other way. I'll bring that up again at the end, because there's something I want to talk about at the end of the video as well. But, so I just want to talk about that. So there we go with that. And people can say I'm being a hypocrite and whatever. I don't care. That's the way I see it. But, let's get on with the DVD review, which was Manhattan Mayhem 3. Of course, this show had a lot to live up to because the first Manhattan Mayhem is considered probably one of the best Ring of Honor shows, period. And the second one is pretty freaking close. So, you have that. So we started off the night with Rhett, Titus, and Kenny King taking on the Young Bucks. I believe this was the Young Bucks' debut. Well, no, the night before. And Manassas was their debut. This was their debut in, I believe, in New York, for Ring of Honor at least. And this was a very good match. This is what you would expect. Fast-paced, X Division style match. Slowed down a little bit, but a lot of the stuff made sense. There wasn't a lot of kickouts, for example. There was more of guys breaking up pins, which makes a little bit more sense. Overall, really good match. If you like fast-paced matches, you will like this match. So there was that. Then we had Necro Butcher versus Jimmy Rave. This was okay. Necro is kind of, I like Necro Butcher, but he's kind of a one-trick pony, particularly now in Ring of Honor. They're not doing, unless he's in a hardcore type match, there's really not a lot to do with him unless you're having like a tag match and use him as kind of the, the strong baby face instead of the babyface in peril type thing, or if they turn him, heel and he's, this monster type. I don't really know what they can do with him because he's kind of a one-trick pony. Not that the fans don't like him and not that he can't draw, I'm just saying. But him and Jimmy Rave went out there. They had an okay match. Everything kind of made sense. You had the Embassy being good little heels and Jimmy Rave being good heels and the whole bit. They worked over the leg. Jimmy Rave won. Pretty simple match. So there we go there. Then we had Tyler Black versus Jimmy Jacobs. I think the actual match lasted all of 5 seconds. This was a first blood match. All the action happened before the bell. I gave this 1.5. Some people probably say that I'm, not giving this what it deserves. I don't know what to even do this. It was a big brawl thing, but it led up to an angle, and it prolonged the whole Jimmy Jacobs Tyler Black thing, with Jimmy winning because he basically stabbed Tyler with a screwdriver. He was bleeding. They then started the match. He lost. Then Tyler came out and said he was going to cash in his world championship tonight, so there was that. So it progressed both angles, and for that it was good, but as a match it was just kind of eh. Then we had Roderick Strong versus Sonjay Dutt. This was very good. Both of these guys are very good wrestlers, and this was a very good match. Back and forth action, fast-paced action, for the most part. Everything made sense. The guys just went out there and had a really, really good match, and it was nice to see. Sonjay did look a little different, noticeably. Roderick was his same kind of self. Sonjay played a pretty good heel, kind of mocking Ric Flair, who did I think it was before this match, Ric Flair did his promo where he put over Ring of Honor. This was the show where he left, where Ric Flair left halfway through the show for whatever reason, and leaving Ring of Honor kind of high and dry, kind of screwing up the main event a little bit. But anyways, so there was that. This was very good. Up to this point, I would say match of the night, and was very enjoyable. Like I said, Dutt played a very good, kind of lovable, kind of likable heel, kind of a prick heel type guy, so that was pretty good. Then we had Bryan Danielson versus Colt Cabana, Bryan Danielson taking on Colt Cabana, D'Lo Brown, and Claudio Castagnoli in a four-corner survival match. This was pretty enjoyable. I liked this. You had this whole Bryan Danielson, Colt Cabana thing kind of going on. But it wasn't all that. It was just kind of there. In some points, it felt kind of dead. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably just, maybe, I don't know. It just kind of didn't feel like it should have been in a lot of ways. So there was that. Then we had the American Wolves versus Kevin Steen and El Generico. This was awesome, bar none. I gave it 4.5. This was great stuff. Just continued on with their feud. Right when I thought the match was going to end, actually they kicked up and went probably another 5 to 10 minutes. Was very good stuff with El Generico and Davey Richards trading shots. El Generico played the spunky kind of wouldn't give up until he finally gave up. Kevin Steen kept coming in for the save. Excellent stuff. Definitely checked out this match. Excellent stuff. Then we had Jay Briscoe versus Guido. This was okay. Again, it was just kind of there. I think they kind of used this as just to bring the crowd down a little bit for the main event. But it was just kind of there. Then we had Jerry Lynn versus Austin Aries versus Tyler Black. It was originally supposed to be Jerry Lynn versus Austin Aries, but then Tyler Black said he wanted the championship. He was going to cash in his championship. This was very good. This was great stuff. They got rid of Jerry Lynn kind of quick, and then it was basically Austin Aries, Tyler Black continuing on their feud. Austin Aries won, which is kind of a downer note, and probably affected the match, in my opinion, a little bit. May have been better, and it just because of that, I took maybe half a star off. No, nothing major, but definitely a 4-star match. Definitely a great match. Not necessarily the match of the night, but definitely a main event worthy match without question. Overall, I thought the show was great. I easily give this an 8.5. I really enjoyed it, and just thought it was excellent. And speaking of which brings us to the news. I kind of went through that kind of quickly, so the video's not too long. Coming to the news that broke, the other news that broke today involving TNA, which is that Jim Cornette, well, not just Jim Cornette, but, well, yeah, Jim Cornette is the big one. Jim Cornette is now gone from TNA. He was let go. Apparently, according to some rumors, if you want to believe them, the reason why he was let go, I guess we'll find out in the next couple of days, is the same thing that's been happening, and the same thing that's been rumored to be happening, where TNA looks to be getting rid of anyone associated with Jeff Jarrett because they don't want to tick off Kurt Angle. Brilliant. You know what? That worked for WCW so well before the NWO angle. Let me just say that, because that was the type of crap that, you know, Hulk Hogan was doing, and in WCW, where he was getting rid of tons of guys that he didn't like, or for power trip reasons, he would get rid of guys to send a message to other guys. Stupidity is what this is. Why would you get rid of Cornette? What was Cornette doing other than, apparently he was helping out Vince Russo to some extent. He was also apparently helping out in the truck. He was a good on-screen presence as well. You could have used him in a wide variety of ways, even if you said you're not going to be part of any of the creative stuff, which he hadn't been before you got rid of Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantel. So there was that. This is all goofy and crazy, and I really don't get it. But I would hope, and I know Carrie Silken does not watch my videos, but I would still hope that Ring of Honor would offer him a job doing something. You know, I don't feel like the product has been that bad. I know a lot of people would disagree, but I don't feel like the Ring of Honor product has been that bad. I just think that they heard what they thought was going to be what Adam Pearce was going to do, and they automatically shit on it. That said, I think if you brought in Cornette, I think a lot of those fans would be like, oh man, they're bringing back Cornette. It's going to be all better and better now. I also think that if you have two guys who are willing to book, that know what they're doing, and they both basically are trying to book kind of the same way, which I think Cornette would be better than Adam Pearce at, because Cornette did it with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He also did it with OVW. A lot of people would go, but you're talking small promotion that understands its limits to some degree, is trying to grow but not too big, and knows how to build up stars. He can do all of that. So I would hope, we'll have to wait and see, I would hope that if Jim Cornette wanted the job, that Ring of Honor would bring him in. I can hope, I can dream. I would like that. I think most fans would like that. I think it would be pretty groovy. So, with that said, there is that. I'll probably be back with some more Ring of Honor reviews this week. I'm not sure which shows I'll do, but we will see. Just to let everybody know, because I do want to kind of get caught up on things. So there is that. And with that, I am out. Have a good one.